My last question would be this: is with a dollar collapse. I mean, it is imminent. Like you said, nobody knows when, but it is imminent. How could this possibly play on the electrical grid? As far as my understanding is, all your power companies are publicly traded and they're not welfare agencies. I mean, when the dollar goes, they're not going to be giving free electric out. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you throw in a generator for good measure.
Because, I mean, we're not off the grid, but I can jump off the grid in 10 minutes if need be, as far as the way I've set things up. I mean, you won't die without electric. A lot of people will, but, we won't. And people have done it before. And I think they got to get used to this fact that the reality of that, the electric, like the dollar, may not be with us a whole lot longer.
Well, the grid is susceptible. But thanks. Appreciate the call there, Mike.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can't butcher this name. Lila. Did I get that right?
Hello?
Hi. Did I get that right, Lila?
Yes, you did.
Cool.
I have an answer to your question about the Social Security office. There was an article in the paper. It says the recession has driven up applications for retirement benefits and disability claims. That the benefits are up 23% higher than last year, and the disability claims are up about 20%. That they have $10 billion. The deficit is $10 billion in 2010 and $9 billion in 2011, and because they have a surplus supposedly of $2.5 trillion, but it will affect the decade. And that was in the newspaper, and it was from Associated Press in Washington.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, yes, sir.
I'm glad to be able to give you an answer instead of you giving me all the answers.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. Thanks, Lila.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Bob, I thought that was very strange, seeing a crowd of people standing outside a Social Security office today. As I said, I never paid any attention to it before because there's never been crowds of people standing outside that particular building before.
Well, I'm going to have to live to be 105 to get the money that I put into Social Security back without interest. So that's my goal. I want to get my money out of there. And, of course, we all know that it certainly won't be there 5 years from now, and if it is, it will be perhaps 20 or 30 or 40% of what the payout is now. Yeah. So all of you retirees, get ready for it, and if all you've got is Social Security, you got a problem.
Yeah. Let's go to Rick in Arizona. Hey, Rick.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Say, I think you guys need to be educated on what's going on in Iran and Israel. Nobody's going to attack anybody over there. Israel isn't going to drop a bomb on Iran, and Iran's not going to drop a bomb on Israel. This has been going on for how many years on the Internet, all this saber-rattling? It has a motive for some reason. I can't quite figure it out. I think a couple of years ago it was more about getting the price of oil up. But they ain't going to waste that Jewish blood killing those Persians. Those Iranians will crush that country in 3 hours if they drop any bombs over there. Besides, how about the Russians and the Chinese, all the interest over there? Kill the wrong people? What are you going to do, have Russia come out, get Russia into the war? This has been BS for 3 years.
Well, you have a point, but it seems as though there are individuals that are pushing for a fight. For what reason? For what reason? I'm not sure. Maybe a diversionary tactic away from obviously the financial crisis that's coming. But
I just don't see.
But I will tell you this. What I find very strange is that all previous saber rattling that has gone on between Iran and Israel we've seen immediate reaction in the commodities market. There has been absolutely no reaction in the commodities market to any of the events that have unfolded in the Middle East in the last 6 months.
Well, look, I see this as a bunch of sixth graders going down to the community college trying to pick a fight. You got 5 million people in that country against 65 million. I mean, just use practical. I mean, it's BS. So I don't know. Is it commodity speculation they're getting out of it?
No, well,
I mean,
I mean, usually when Iran test fires a missile, you get a spike in gold and oil, none of which happened of any degree.
Yeah.
So,
okay, boys.
Thanks, Rick. We'll take another break. Be right back with Bob Chapman, international forecaster. Welcome back to the National Intel Report. Robbie Noel sitting in for John Statmiller, joined by Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster. You know, Bob, Rick has a point. I mean, I was wondering that myself the last few days. With all the saber rattling, and it's at an extreme level, more extreme than at any other time, but commodities have not reacted in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, oil's going the other way.
It's hard sometimes to know, the direction of things. I think it's easier to do gold right now than it is other things. We got your modest statement. You got 18% of those newsletter writers as polled by Holbert, and 18% bullish. I mean, that's dreadful for a contrarian. It's extremely bullish. You got the gold stock strong. I think you get just about everything going for you. The other markets are harder to figure out, and they're bigger. And, the reflection of that in other markets, the stock market's not going down precipitously, and commodities aren't flying. I think people don't think anything's going to happen in the Middle East. That's super negative. And I think they're looking at other areas.
Yeah. Well, speaking of miners, let me do a quick programming announcement. On Thursday, you'll be joining me on the flip side to talk about that very subject. Because obviously I see a wonderful opportunity in the next 30 days. I'm keeping my powder dry. I'm just very nervous about October. Call me crazy, Bob. But I think we could see something develop in the month of October that will give us great buying opportunities once again. And what I want to know from you, you mentioned something the other day, because I use a very rudimentary system of finding miners that I like. And it's just simply looking at a chart and seeing where previous gold prices were, where gold prices is today, and seeing the disparity in the price of the stock. And I know that's not a good way of picking stocks. It's kind of like, the weekend punters at horse racing. They don't really make money. Every now and again they will get lucky, but the guys that make money on a consistent basis on the racetrack are the handicappers, who obviously dig deeper into the information, of which you do and which I don't. Now, the other day you mentioned, and you were talking about, I believe it was SSRI, and you were making the connection between the capitalization of the miner versus how many stocks it has outstanding. Is this a very important thing that I should be learning about when I look at miners, to see how much money they got and how many stocks they've got outstanding?
Well, first of all, I think you've got to look at the perspective of where the mining company is, what they've done, what their reserves are, what their cost of production is. And this is net cost of production, not the cost per ounce out of the ground. There's a lot of other expenses that go along with it.